But there were 3 graduates going for a job at MI5. You knew it was coming. Goes downhill after the joke. Chris said to me, he says, have you got a joke today? I said, yeah. I said, but it goes straight downhill after the joke. I don't know, maybe the joke's no good as well. But anyway. So anyways, 3 graduates go for a job at MI5. And they sit down, they're in the big room, and the spy master comes out, who's going to interview them. And he says, okay, he says, so you want to join MI5? They go, yeah. So with MI5, you have to be super observant. There could be the slightest thing that you need to notice about someone that will give you an insight into their intentions. He said, so I'm going to flash a card up in front of you, and I want you to tell me an insight that you see about that person. So he goes to candidate number 1, and he flashes up this card, and he puts it down again. He says, tell me, what did you see? He said, the person has only got one eye. He said, no, no. He says, that's not it. I said, what I showed you was the profile picture of someone's head. You can only see one eye because it's a side-taken photo. Okay, so I'm sorry you haven't got a job. So he goes to the second person. He flashes the card up in front of the second person, puts it down again. He says, tell me, what did you see on the photo? He says, the guy's only got one ear. He said, I've just told the first one that it's a profile picture. So obviously you weren't listening, so I'm sorry, you haven't got a job. So he goes to the third candidate and flashes the card up, brings it down again, says, what did you see? He says, the guy wears contact lenses. So the spy master goes through the file and he goes, that's amazing. He said, yeah. He said, you've got the job. That man that I showed you the picture of, he wears contact lenses. You've got the job. He said, tell me, how did you know he wore contact lenses? And the third candidate says, duh, with only one ear and one eye, he couldn't wear glasses. I told you, it goes downhill after that one. We're talking about... we're talking about grace in the shadows, okay? And I thought we'd start off by just refreshing ourselves. We're just refreshing ourselves by... The Bible refers to types and patterns. So I've given it a bit away now because I just flashed up the other thing. But what I was going to do is this. I'm going to say something and you can tell me what you think it is. I was going to say, this animal I'm thinking of has 4 legs. Okay? This animal I'm thinking of has fur. This animal I'm thinking has 2 eyes and 2 ears. And a tail. Yeah? It could be anything. But if I said this animal has a bark, it's a dog. Okay? But they're not the same. Yeah? They're both dogs. They both have fur. They both have eyes and tails. They both bark. But they're not the same. But they have the same type. They have the same pattern. Yes? So then, although they're not the same, they are the same type. They're a different breed, but they are a dog. Types and patterns. And today we're going to be looking at Adam and his type and pattern in terms of the Christ. He is foreshadowing Christ. There are relationships between Adam and Christ that are similar. They're not the same person, but there are similarities and there are patterns between the two. Okay? Do you get that? So, what patterns, what types, what similarities are there between Adam and Jesus? Both men. Okay, good point. Yeah, both human. So both firsts. Sometimes we call them the first Adam and the first Adam and the second Adam. Good point. Okay. What other things are similar between the two? Both sinless, yes. So both Christ and Adam originally were sinless. Okay, that's good. Yep. Pardon? Both are fathers, yes. Everything comes out of either Adam or Christ. That's right. Anything else? Can we have an interpretation of tongues? Both had wives taken from their sides. Good point. So Jesus, Adam had Eve, and Christ, and us as the bride of Christ. And that's one of the points I want to pick up on later on. Yep. Both, but both. Well, I don't. Well, what we're going to look at today is that they were both tempted at one point. One obeyed, and one disobeyed. But they were both tempted. So you're right in that sense. Yeah? Both were made in the image of God. Absolutely. So we've got these types. We've got this pattern forming that we've got between Adam and Christ. Can anybody think of anything else? That's a good. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah. Yeah. So there, situations in a garden. Gethsemane and the Garden of Eden. Yeah. Anything else? We inherit from both of them. There is an inheritance from both of them. No. So do you see this, what I was trying to get at, you see this family, we're getting this pattern of Adam and we're getting a pattern of Christ. Here's some of the things that I looked at. And it's gone blank. Oh, it's gone off. What's happened there? So I had birth. Both had a miraculous birth. Jesus was made born out of a virgin, and Adam was made. God created man. He was a created being, and Jesus had a miraculous birth as well. So you've got that reference there. We've got both, as we said, we're both made in the image of God. So both were there. God created man in his own image. And in Colossians 1:15, it says Jesus is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn. Let's try it again. Okay. There we go. Birth. God created man in his own image. And the NASB in Matthew 1:23, born is born of a virgin. The image. I love that with babies looking at mirrors and stuff. God created man in his own image. And in Colossians, Jesus is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn, which is what Peter was saying, over all creation. I'd never considered before that both originally that Adam and Jesus would have had the same nature, the same character, different people, both born, created in the image of God. And I hadn't really thought about that before. But there's this similarity, that was born, made perfect and holy. This is another one. Adam covered himself to cover his shame, whereas Jesus covers our shame. So you've got this parallel of what Jesus did and how Adam reacted and what Jesus did.